Hello, people. I'm Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed. Well, as usual, there is a lot happening in this country as well as in the rest of the world. And most recently, of course, the tragedy with that hurricane which killed all those people and destroyed their homes and livelihoods like that. It's a major election going on in the country, and they're plastering social media with so much P. Diddy news that you think that's over the top relevant. So yeah, it's a lot happening in the world, but right now I want to address the issue with the storm damage and the relief efforts. It is said that some people are complaining that they can't get the money needed for relief, and then there's other reports of problems with funding and things like that. Yeah, people, you got to be able to see through plots, distant plots, secret plots, and all that. If there's no money left in a fund to relieve the people's need for basic and non-basic necessities, including a new comfortable living space, then what is the problem? Why is that the case? You know what I say? The main reason: wars can drain entire economies. The longer you keep wars going, the constant spending will keep going on to fund those wars. And then you'll find yourself doing sleazy stuff to fund wars, like getting involved with drug conspiracies and things and crime lords in order to keep the war going. Hey, if you're not trying to fight against communism or racism or sexism or biased, cruel opinions or slavery and things like that, then what's the point of keeping a war going continuously for months and months and years? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, what are you fighting for? What is anybody fighting for? And is it worth it? You know, then you look at all the innocents that are slain in the process, and then it's crazy and sad with that being the case. Now, the stuff with the money being a crucial issue because of funding problems. Look, every time a country is fighting a war, you don't automatically go and write check after check after check and just give unlimited amount of resources. You try to get some kind of delegation together and go have peace talks. Get everybody, get an army of delegates and go there. Yeah, folks, you have to take a diplomatic approach to things. You got to be diplomatic. You can't be warmongering. Look at the game of chess, the grand, glorious game of chess, where you have the highest, greatest chess players up there, which are grandmasters. Then you have the masters beneath them. Then you have the good players, and then you have the all right players, and then you have the bad players that don't really grasp the concept fully. Like if you look at a grandmaster chess player that moves around pieces on a game board, and just say that grandmaster's at a high level, if not he's not at the highest we know cosmically, but on a worldly, and he says, hey, I want to move some pieces around. I want to make those dependent on me and my companies and things like that. So this guy might say, hey, I need to manufacture a war in order to, remember that movie on TV, or that movie that came out at the movies initially before it went to TV, where they manufactured a war? It's like Hollywood filmed a war, made it up like it was really going on, and showed the people or something, and they thought that it was really a war happening. So some might say you don't know what to believe and not to believe. You don't know what is true and what is true. And they will tell you that they know how to do these things. They will show it, but you'll be like, oh, no, they wouldn't do that. But why would they tell me if they would do something like that, you know, figuratively speaking? Then even if the wars are not manufactured, and if they are real, then you definitely got to find a diplomatic approach to it, because more fighting will draw more people into it. Then eventually it's a much, much bigger drawn out thing. Then you know you really in it then. And then it's best to like put the fire out at the very beginning stages if you know that something is about to go down. It's as simple as that. Yeah. And with the issue, getting back to the issue of like all the funding being poured into the war efforts, billions upon billions, tens of billions, maybe hundreds of billions or so, that's an indication that you can't fix everything with money anyway. Because if you put all those resources into it and it didn't end it, then it's not going to end, especially if it's continued on and it has funding. Like reduce it completely. Both sides that are involved, tell them to stop, or tell the aggressors they have to stop, and then, you know, do embargoes and stuff like that. Cut their shipping lanes off. Do it like other countries did it back in the day, in ancient times, like the company, like, because it was always like a madman out there in control of an army, and he tried to go out and conquer things. Then where is it going to end once he take this territory, that? You know, that's how conquest is. An insatiable appetite of greed with a grand need to feed. Yeah. Well, folks, thanks for hanging out and receiving my message. Now I'd appreciate it if you would give me those likes, comments, and please subscribe to me, Detroit Miracle.